3.
Hi, my name is Bruce Rhodes, and I'm the Conference Superintendent of the Southern Michigan Conference of the Free Methodist Church. And I'd like to welcome you to this video training segment for those of you who have been elected in your local church to serve on a leadership board or a local board of administration. You know, we're really committed to your success as a leader in the local church level, and this is just one of several segments of training that we're offering in order to help you be as effective as you can be in the mission of Jesus in the local church setting. But before I talk about anything specific to your local church responsibilities, I want to remind you of something that often gets lost in the translation. You know, when a church nominating committee says to somebody, hey, would you like to sit on our leadership board or our board of administration? Very often those people aren't aware that they're part of something bigger as then the work of the local church that they're involved in, and that is the work of the annual conference. We are a network of churches together, and so there's a larger context of leadership than what you may initially think about when you are seated at that very first meeting at your local church. As an annual conference, we share a very common history together, a common ethos, a common theology, a common system and structure, and we believe that we really are better together as an annual conference of churches than any one church will ever be by themselves. We're connected together. That is the larger context. None of our churches are independent churches. We really are connected together in the mission of Jesus. So while all of us share in the same mission of, loving God and loving people and making disciples, our conference, we also share this vision together as a conference, and that is to bring wholeness to the world as healthy biblical communities of holy people who are multiplying disciples and multiplying leaders and multiplying groups and multiplying churches. That's our vision together, and it's larger than the vision at just the local church level. And this is the vision that compels us to think beyond the local context of your church and to think regionally and to think worldwide. Together, it's incredible what we do all across Southern Michigan and all over the world as a group of churches. So I'll say it again, together, we can do so much more than what any church can do alone. Your connection with the annual conference benefits your church directly, and it expands the mission of Christ in the broader ministry context. Together, we are about doing 4 things as an annual conference. All of our churches, are about these 4 things: developing leaders, multiplying churches, building partnerships, and resourcing mission. You'll note when those of you who may come to an annual conference that our agenda for our meeting is centered around these 4 strategic elements. Again, developing leaders, multiplying congregations, resourcing mission, and building partnerships. And I want to take a few moments and help unpack each one of those, because there's a point in which the local church and the annual conference are working together in all 4 of these aspects. First, developing leaders. Where do leaders come from? Well, they come from our local churches, don't they? The local church is the incubators of leaders. And so we look to our local churches to be, building leadership development cultures for those God is calling into full-time Christian ministry, as well as to the lay leaders God is calling into the leadership of the church. So we've worked hard in these last couple of years helping equip our pastors with development plans for deacons and local ministerial candidates. And then there becomes a particular point where candidates are vetted and become conference ministerial candidates, and then on to ordination. This is an essential part of the work we do together, not just at the local church level, not just at the annual conference level, but together. Ministerial development is something that we are investing in as an annual conference. We want your pastors, we want our leaders to be learning and growing in cohort groups together. God is taking us deeper into our understanding of who he's called us to be as leaders of his church and what he is expecting us to do. These are exciting days of personal and professional development for your pastors, and we're excited about the work that he's doing both in our head and our heart and our hands. We also want to develop leaders as we resource lay people. So we've developed an Ignite intensive schedule each year, and we invite our lay leaders to come into the training and equipping in their boards, those board members into conference sessions like this. And some of you have already been a part of that, so you know a little bit about what that looks like. It really is good to belong, and together we are able to develop leaders, more leaders for the kingdom of Jesus. Multiplying congregations. So as we multiply leaders, we can multiply ministries, we can multiply groups, we can multiply churches. We believe every church can and should multiply. Every living thing that God designed, he designed for reproduction. Think about that. That's a powerful concept. As we continue to work with leaders and churches to become healthy, we believe that they become more fruitful. And when they become more fruitful, they begin to multiply and reach more and more people. We believe our conference can and should multiply as well. We're excited to share our vision to plant new churches in the next few years all across southern Michigan and to build church planting incubators in order to invite church planters to, in order to experiment and innovate and figure out new ways to reach new population groups. These are exciting days to be part of the Southern Michigan Conference. Building partnerships is our third strategy. Thankfully, we're not alone in the mission of Jesus. There are others that God has raised up. When I think about the work of Spring Arbor University, our very own university, and how many pastors and leaders have come out of that fine school, or the work of the Free Methodist Foundation with estate planning alone. I sat down with the director or the president just the other day, and every year at this particular stage in time, over $15,000 a year comes into the life of our conference and with our missionaries into particular churches who are recipients of estate planning. Asbury Seminary has been an important partner in the life of our conference. Many of our pastors have received their advanced degrees from Asbury Seminary, and we're having additional conversations with them about how they can partner with us in identifying and training new church planters for the future. And finally, resourcing mission. There is no better example about how we're better together than in this particular area. The amount of funding alone that we send outside of ourselves, together we have sent millions and millions of dollars overseas in support of missionary support accounts and country share accounts and child care ministries and visa teams. Hundreds, probably thousands of people from our churches have gone out all over the globe in every continent on the mission of Jesus. These are things that we have been able to do together. Together, we also resource and help support our very own conference camp, the Southern Michigan Campground, where we have had thousands of our young people and teens over the last 30 years that have been a part of the camp experience. Many, I know in fact, hundreds of them have made decisions for Jesus. That is our camp. That is a benefit we have shared together and we have helped resource together. There are many other ways that we come together in the mission, but I have taken this time to give just a little snapshot of what we are able to do as a conference group of churches together. It is good to belong. And that's exactly what churches have said to me multiple times in my last 4 years as a superintendent. When we have had churches that have entered into deep periods of crisis, how the churches around our conference have responded. In the cases of extensive and expensive illnesses of some of our pastoral teams, where churches have sent thousands of dollars in relief assistance to those families and those churches have said to me, Superintendent, it really is good to belong. We assist our churches in pastoral succession planning. We assist our churches in, well, we actually make the pastoral appointments to our churches. We vet the missionaries that come and stand in our pulpits and tell about the call of God to world missions. There are just countless ways in which together as an annual conference of churches, We resource the mission together and partner together in the mission. Now, this is just a brief overview of the context of what it means to be part of an annual conference. We want to make sure that you're aware that this is something you get to belong to. This is something that God's been doing for almost 151 years now in the life of our conference. We are part of a stream of history. We are part of an essential connection together in doing the mission of Jesus together. So we welcome you into this team, into the Southern Michigan Conference, and we're glad that you and your church are a part of the work of the annual conference as well.